Like that. Okay, welcome everyone. I think there will be still some people joining, but the room is open, so I would like to already kick off. And yeah, I'm so happy and grateful that you're all here for our sixth tribe call of the year. And this time it's a really special one for me because in the last, 1.5 to 2 years, I've been really working on this topic in my own journey, and it has changed literally everything for me on how I see life, how I run my business, and it's been just such a powerful topic of understanding how to open the heart and how to lead from the heart. And yeah, I really felt that I really wanted to share this with you guys. And yeah, and also in a playful way. So, like I said before, I will share first also a presentation, and then we will do some sharing, and I will also guide you into some heart opening exercises and breakouts. So we can really, not only consume the information that I want to share with you today, but also really embody it. And knowledge becomes wisdom through embodiment. And this is, the most important part for me of all of this. So, let's start. And I would like to start today with a short meditation just to get ourselves fully present here to really help us to move the energy from the mind into the heart. So I will play some music for you and I invite you to sit comfortably. And let me see. You can hear the music, right? Nice.
Yes,
One second, actually, I realized I will switch on my. How is the sound now? Perfect. Maybe I will put the music a tiny bit lower so you can hear it well.
Only we can't hear you if the mic is capturing the music and you're in the background. Like say something?
Okay, how is it now?
Better.
Better? Okay, let's check. I will put the music a little bit more down still. Always the technical start, but we're just flowing with it. Okay, I hope that you can hear me now. Perfect. I invite you then to gently close your eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths together. I invite you to breathe in through the nose, inside out through the mouth. Another time, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. One more time, the deepest breath in through the nose, inside out through the mouth. And I invite you to bring your attention to your natural breath as it is right now in this moment. And slowly feel your attention moving from the outer world into the inner world. Connecting with your breath, asking your mind to slow down, connecting with the heart. Our today's topic is leading from the heart. So let's set the space for that. Leading from the heart means feeling in the body. Let's use the breath, truly anchor that presence in the current moment. And just observe how you feel right now. How is your natural breath? Is it shallow or deep? Just observe without any judgment. Practicing real acceptance of the present moment. And with every breath, connect deeper to your inner world. Remembering that this is all you need to do right now. Being present. This is our birthright. Being present here and now. Opening the heart to feel life to the fullest. And really arriving here with an open heart.
Trying hard to be myself, whoever that is. How can I hear myself above all this
Keep
noise?
breathing.
Taking my joy.
Giving yourself this moment.
Trying hard to see myself as someone that deserves the dreams inside myself. I need something good.
Take a moment to listen to your heart.
Imagine it would. I'm still finding it hard to overcome all of the doubts, all of the voices that hold me ransom. Making a stand, making a step into the dark. Who do I trust? Who do I trust? If not my heart, if not my heart, if not my heart, if not my heart, then who?
I invite you to place both your hands on your heart. And truly connect to that heart space. Every inhale, inviting more love, more trust. Every exhale, releasing the doubt, the fear. Truly listening to your heart.
If not my heart, if not my heart, if not my heart,
Put a gentle smile on your face, setting the intention to be here, present, with an open heart. To learn, to connect, to grow. Showing gratitude for yourself for showing up today. And knowing that as long as you follow your heart, everything will become clear. You will find your answers. You will feel fulfillment, love, and abundance. Opening the heart, leading from the heart. This is the way to true freedom.
if not my heart, then who?
Take another deep breath in through the nose. The side out one more time. Take a moment to set an intention for today. Set that intention deep in your heart. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start coming back into the space. Feeling more grounded, more connected, more you, as that is what is welcome here today. Hopefully you can see also the slides that I put on. Nice. I invite you to stay present, listen to my story, and yeah, really feel how this makes you feel. And then after the presentation, I would invite all of you to share a little bit about how this resonates, and yeah, and also what brought you here. Okay. So, as I was saying, leading from your heart, this is a topic that has been really life-changing for me. I placed this picture with the fire there because it sounds very romantic, leading from your heart. And yeah, that means feeling a lot of love, of abundance, of fulfillment. But what is not so often talked about, and what I really want to normalize, is that leading with your heart also means leading yourself through the challenging times, holding yourself with love through the most difficult periods, learning to receive your pain with compassion, and walk through the fire to alchemize those challenges, that pain, into wisdom. And this is what this topic has done for me. And this is why I also feel so fascinated about it, and why it's also such a big part of my work and my teachings. So let me start with telling you a little bit about my personal story.
Sorry to interrupt, Uli.
Yeah.
I don't see the presentation in case you're sharing. Do you guys see it?
Oh, really?
Okay,
Oh, the rest
so
does.
I'll try to join again.
Yeah, try that. Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks for letting me know. Hopefully he will manage. Yeah, a little bit about my journey. It's been really a big journey for me to open my heart. It has been not easy to feel, the pain that has been collected over my childhood, especially. And for a long time, I thought that opening my heart was mostly feeling love, feeling mindfulness, enjoying, the life to the fullest. But what I didn't know is that that also included holding myself with the same presence and love in the difficult times. And yeah, my journey was not the easiest because I had a very rough start. I was born as an accident, so I was not expected. My mom was also not really ready to have a child, and when she was pregnant, she also expected a boy, which caused me not having a girl's name or any name for the first weeks of my life. So you can imagine how that impacted very unconsciously already the feeling of being too much. This has been something that I felt for a long time over my life, and I still sometimes can feel that. And because my mom was not really prepared to have me, and the relationship between my mother and my father was not really stable, they also decided to break up when I was 3 years old. So in the first years of my childhood, all I knew was a lot of fear, doubt, unsafety, and this also translated into me, my nervous system. That became something that felt safe to me. And when I was 3, my mom and I moved to my grandparents. This was all in Belarus. This is where I was. And very soon after that, my mom also left because she wanted to start a better life for us in the Netherlands. But for that, she needed some time to get her papers straight, to earn money, to be able to get me there also legally. So practically, this makes sense. But on an emotional level, all I've known from 0 to 7 years was abandonment. Abandonment from my parents, from my father, who started a new family, and also my mother, who was doing the right thing for us, but who couldn't be there with me. So this translated in me feeling a lot of unsafety in my system. And when I was 7 years old, I finally moved to the Netherlands with my mother, which from one point of view was, of course, very nice to be reunited with my mother. But it was also really difficult because my mom was doing all that she could, but her heart was so closed for life. All she knew was struggle, survival, scarcity. She came from a very poor family, and she really had to work so hard to make a better life for ourselves. And this also meant that I could feel that tension, I could feel that stress, I could feel that unsafety in her system, and that became also the norm for me. And as a top of a cherry, my mom also didn't know how to regulate herself and how to regulate those emotional storms that she experienced so strongly. And there she developed a coping mechanism of alcohol. So she was, and she still is, drinking every couple of months to be able to cope with her inner storms, with her inner world. And for a long time, this closed my heart for her. And this is why also she's been one of my biggest teachers in opening my heart. Because when I closed my heart, it was easier for me to not feel the pain of missing my mother, of missing a childhood that I didn't have, of missing a family. So when I closed my heart, I just left home. When I was 18, I went traveling. Since then, I lived in 7 countries. I traveled to many, many more. And even though that gave me a lot of beautiful experiences, that was also a coping mechanism for me to not have to face that pain that has been there in my childhood. And in the last years, I am really proud and grateful to say that I've been really opening my heart for my mother, and really I've learned to receive her with so much compassion. And the most important, to take care of myself so her actions would not close my heart to close anymore. Because when we close our heart, and I will tell you a little bit more about it soon, we close our life force energy. We close ourselves for feeling life fully. And for a long time, this is what I was doing to myself. This also led me in a long journey of allowing myself to feel love in a relationship. Because I was so scared of feeling abandoned, of being abandoned, because that's all I knew in my childhood, that unconsciously I sabotaged a lot of my relationships. And little by little, I also learned to open my heart there by understanding that no one else can give me that safety and that self-love than me. And this has been my journey of opening the heart and leading also from an open heart. And in the last few years, I can truly say that I learned to feel unconditional love for myself. And I have developed that perfect inner parent within myself, the perfect mother that can receive myself with compassion and love and patience, and the perfect father who can hold space, who can provide foundation and direction and vision in my life, even through the most difficult times. And this is the divine sacred energies, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And for a long time, I was looking for that in others, in my mother, in my partners. And yeah, this has been like a real journey for me to experience freedom to the level that I experience it now, and really feeling that no matter what happens in my external world, I still can feel these waves of unsafety, of fears, but I know how to hold myself through it. And I know also how to keep my vision alive through these ups and downs of life. Because what happens if we can't hold ourselves in those challenging moments, and we can't hold pain that is inevitable in life? We start avoiding everything that might make us feel uncomfortable. We start avoiding everything that is outside of our comfort zone. That is why this journey is really not for everyone, and this journey is not for the faint-hearted, because you need to really have courage to look at your fears with presence, and walk through that fire to come out of that more present, more empowered, and more able to experience life to the fullest, because it's really a spectrum of, we feel love as much as we can feel pain. We can meet others as much as we can meet ourselves. So there's always this spectrum that is allowing us to really live life to the fullest. And I really want to normalize this, because a lot of people talk about manifestation, creating a dream life, as it's something where you need to get really clear on what you want, what your purpose is, what your direction is. And this is, in my opinion, a very masculine approach to that, because it has no space for actually truly opening the heart and allowing you to feel what life wants from you. Because we keep asking this question so often: what do I want from life? What do I want from life? And then we don't have clarity, and we get so frustrated and tense, and we close the heart. And this is actually hindering the process of life unfolding perfectly for us. And yeah, for me, this is also related, opening the heart to be able to experience true freedom, to be able to experience freedom to the extent that you can lead your life with intention, and you decide how you respond to situations, not your survival mechanism, not your past traumas. And also there, leading yourself into more expansive versions of yourself, because that always comes with moving through discomfort. And that's why I really want to zoom in today and explain you more about opening and closing of the heart and how we can stay open. And this is really important for me, because in a world that often values productivity over presence, heart-led leaders help shift the culture towards healing, wholeness, and depth. And together we can raise consciousness. This is for me so close to my heart, and this is also the mission of Ahora. Yeah, Ahora means now. This is Spanish for the present. And with Ahora, I am really on a mission to build a movement of more heart-led, embodied leaders, so together we can raise the consciousness of this earth. Because all the chaos, all the suffering that is happening in the world, it is because people are hurt, and hurt people hurt people. So the only way that we can turn that around and create a more loving, harmonious, and conscious humanity, it is through raising consciousness, starting with ourselves, and then leading from that space of an open heart, so that can be contagious to our inner circles, to our clients, that can spread as a big movement. And this is something that I feel so called to stand up for, and to really bring into all of my programs, online, offline. This is it for me. So why is it so important to lead from an open heart? It is because an open heart allows us to feel authenticity, connection, and alignment. Authenticity meaning that only with an open heart we can truly feel what is right for us and what is not right for us. So we can truly walk our authentic path without looking for external validation, knowing our inner truth, and knowing also our boundaries. Connection with ourselves, with our bodies. Very often our minds, which when they're untrained, they take over, and it's like a wild animal that moves us around in so much rush, in so much distress, giving us all kinds of perspectives. And there's like this constant inner conflict asking us, which perspective is the truth? Which decision should I make? All this overthinking, overanalyzing, fixing. The only way to stop that being in the lead of our life is to restore the connection with ourselves, with our body, with our heart. Because we are not our thoughts. We are also not our emotions. We are the one who is able to observe all of that as it's all passing. And to be able to really understand what it means to be the observer, to develop that witness consciousness, we need to restore the connection with our intuition, with our body, with ourselves. And then from there, you can live in alignment with your true values, in alignment with your true desires, not being led by fear, by self-doubt, by self-rejection, and really co-create with life. And I see 3 stages in that journey, because I have clients working with me who are already leaders, as in they are leaders in their companies or they have businesses. But I also have clients who want to understand these and embody these teachings to live a more peaceful and harmonious life. So when I talk about living, leading, and serving, this can apply to anyone. Because when we live when we live with an open heart, we are rooted in our truth. So we know what is our truth. We don't need to ask people so much for opinions. We can feel what is right for us. We live intuitively and we stay present with our intuition. And we stay present with the pleasant sensations and feelings, but also with the challenging ones, as those are the biggest teachers for us. We are emotionally resilient, meaning that when there is big emotional storms, we're able to hold ourselves rooted through that. When emotions arise, we don't attach to them, and we know that this is not our true essence. This emotion is energy emotion, it will pass. And living like that helps us to stay connected to ourselves and others. Then the next stage, when we live with an open heart, we can really lead ourselves also with an open heart, and we can lead others as well. This can be in your work life, but it can also be in your family, in your personal environment, within your friends, within your colleagues, within your sports clubs. You can lead people by being the example of what it means to live from an open heart. And this means leading with compassion, understanding that people sometimes get triggered, that they have emotions, not taking that personal. Because if the ego takes over, we take things personal. And we make ourselves so important. And if someone says something to hurt us, which closes our heart, we blame them for closing our heart. But the truth is that we decide in that moment to close our heart. And leading with compassion means staying present with no matter what situation might hurt you, you might feel pain, but not creating suffering for yourself out of that by closing the heart, by thinking around how wrong the situation was, how we didn't deserve that. Really having compassion for the situation and receiving that pain with love so it can pass. Because when we close our hearts, we hold on to that pain, we store it inside. And we always think that it's about the other or the situation, but it's not. It's truly about us. And we can learn to keep our heart open no matter what happens in the outside. Then you can lead truly from a place of love rather than fear. Because very often we are afraid. We are afraid to be rejected. We are afraid to be seen. We are afraid to not be good enough. Fear is ruling so many parts of our lives. And when we start learning to feel comfortable with fear, with discomfort, we can truly lead ourselves and others from a place of love, with intention to keep our heart open no matter what. And also we can let go of control, because often we respond to fear with control. When we are afraid, we feel there is unsafety, and what we do is we try to hold on and we try to control the situation. We try to control the person. We try to control by looking for solutions, by looking for answers now. Because if I control it, if I find an answer, I don't have to feel that discomfort and that pain. This is how much of our lives is ruled by fear. And if we don't watch out, we will start building walls all around us, closing ourselves from opportunities, from people, from love, because we're so afraid to get hurt. And once you are able to lead yourself with an open heart through the ups and downs of life, then the next stage is being of service. And this, again, it can apply in your business, it can apply also in your regular life, being of service even to your relationships. Because when we lead by the ego, it's always about, okay, you give me something, I take something. Okay, I do something for you, what do I get in return? The frequency of being of service is truly being able to give from a place of abundance, not needing anything in return, giving because you're full, your cup is full, leading by a higher vision. And I always talk about a concept that I learned from my dear mentor here, that is moving from determination to devotion. When we live from a place of determination and serve from a place of determination, yes, we do good for others, but we want something in return. We want something to be happening now. We want results. We want, yeah, like it's this place of drive where we feel like, okay, I need to do this because it's also good for me. When we serve from a place of devotion, we are so devoted to our vision, and our work becomes true prayer that we want to send into the world, the true change that we want to see in the world. No matter how hard it is, how many people show up, you still stay devoted to that vision because deep in your heart, you know that this is what you're here to do. And that devotion with commitment and consistency, that leads to your dream life, to your dream business. Because when we lead from determination, when something doesn't go our way, we get disappointed, we get annoyed, we judge ourselves, and we tend to give up. So that devotion, that is something that is so much more rooted, sustainable, and it is built over time. And that allows you also to co-create with the universe, with life, and surrender to let it unfold for you. Because all of us, we come here with a mission. We come here with a beautiful medicine to share with the world. We all have these beautiful gifts, but very often our mind's complicated. We are afraid to show ourselves. We are afraid to get hurt, to get rejected. And we don't let ourselves fully shine in those gifts. And the only way to not let the mind control you in that is to really train the muscle of leading from your heart. So you can actually also create real impact in your life and also the lives of others. So let's talk a little bit about opening and closing of the heart, because I want to make it really specific for you guys. So what does it mean to closing the heart? This is happening when we feel off guard, when we feel not seen, when we feel hurt. This can happen in situation with someone. So someone says something that is hurtful to us, but it also can happen on our own. Me personally, I don't need anyone to sometimes make myself so overwhelmed and crazy. I can do it perfectly by myself. And I can feel that that is immediately when my heart is closing. So for me, it feels really like I'm becoming tense. It's a contraction. My body feels, my mind starts racing. My mind starts looking for solutions and it starts seeing problems. And it's like there is a million things that I need to get to do. And I don't have the time to it. And everything feels so overwhelming and fast. And yeah, I can get really defensive and triggered and really also avoid the things that are really important. This is also often when we tend to numb ourselves with entertainment, with food, with alcohol, with other substances. We also can tend to isolate or disconnect. So this also happens a lot in relationships. When you have an argument with someone you love and they say something that hurts you, you close your heart and you're like, oh, I don't feel the love for you. And an hour or a few hours ago, you felt so much love for this person, and suddenly it's like this whole live stream, it's like closed, and you just don't feel it, and you want to sometimes even hurt the other person because you're so deeply hurt, You want to say something mean or react because you are so hurt and it's unfair that they are not hurt. This is the ego who wants to, to prove that you are right and they are wrong. And it feels really heavy. It really feels, ugh. That is how a closed heart feels. And in my own experience, like sometimes it can feel like a big closing of the heart, but it can also be like a gentle closing when I feel like, ooh, this doesn't make me feel comfortable. Okay, what's happening here? So it can be also very subtle. And then how does an open heart feel? It feels soft, it feels present, it feels full of compassion and love. It's how you feel seen. And it's how you feel when you have these unexpected deep conversations with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family. It is the glimmers. The glimmers are the opposite of the triggers that can make you feel like such a softening in your nervous system. For me, it's, for example, seeing the sunset or driving my car barefoot because I live on an island and I have that freedom to not wear boots or shoes. Or it's the smell of a warm tea, the scent, and feeling that. It can be, also the feeling and the relief after kind of solving an argument with someone. Hey, you can feel like, okay, I can breathe again. Okay, I can feel compassion and love again. Okay, I understand your perspective also. It's about trusting life, trusting even when you still feel pain. And it's choosing to keep the heart open, to lead intentionally from that space of love rather than from the fear and ego. So it really feels like an expansion, and you feel spaciousness, you feel like you can breathe. You feel like you can be, you feel like you don't need to rush anywhere. The heart is opening and closing all the time. So as our thoughts are coming and going and emotions are coming and going, also our heart is opening and closing. So it is a dance, it is a motion that is constantly moving. And depending on how seen, safe, and connected you feel, the heart feels safe to open. And when we feel threatened by a real life situation or by the past experiences that we had, the heart can close. So what closes our hearts are wounds, betrayers, heartbreak, abandonment, loss. It's not being able to be vulnerable or being yourself. This often happens also when we transform and we start changing. We start feeling disconnection with our old friends, or maybe there's even times where we feel very disconnected from our family because maybe they are having a judgment around the path that we chose and about the choices that we make. That can really tense us and close the heart. It can also be unresolved trauma or childhood trauma, like my own story. I've been working a lot through that to release that, not only on an intellectual level, but truly on a somatic level, on a level of rewiring my nervous system, of learning to hold my hurt inner child. So this is not only the level of understanding, but it's truly embodiment and wisdom that we can live from. Also, when we going through periods of stress, it can become chronic and it can cause us to live in a survival mode. And the disconnection from the body and emotions. This is a really big one, because when we are living purely from our rational mind, we end up all the time wanting to rationalize things, analyze things, pros, cons, very logical approach to life. However, life is so much more than that. It is so much more than only words, than only analytics. There is so many senses, there's so many things to experience. And if we live only from the mind, we close ourselves from the full experience of life. And it can also be cultural conditioning, which also in the culture where I come from is very normal, that tells us to toughen up and suppress feelings because it's not strong to show your vulnerability. And in my opinion, those people who are showing up vulnerable and showing their real feelings, I have the most respect for them. Those people who are willing to look at their fears, their pain with courage and walk through that fire, those are the most strong people because they are not letting the past define them, because they will choose to live with an open heart and they will choose to rewrite their story no matter where they come from. Yeah. And the heart openers, this is moments of beauty and awe, nature, art, music, silence. For me, meditation is the biggest heart opener. That's why I teach so much also meditation, somatics, the science of the body, and meditation, they are so closely related. And feeling seen, heard, and accepted. First of all, by yourself. This has been also a huge journey for me. Because of course, it is amazing to be in environments where you're seen, heard. That's why I create these spaces also for a global tribe. But most importantly, to feel seen and heard and accepted by yourself. This is so, so important. Practices like breathwork, meditation, somatics, journaling, self-compassion, this all can help you to practice to keep the heart open. And this is how we learn to live courageously. And we choose also to lead with an open heart, even when it's risky, even if we know that we might get hurt. Yeah. And what has helped me a lot is deepening my spiritual connection, restoring my connection, to the divine, to really trust the divine timing of life and let life unfold. And for me, a lot of people ask me, how did you build your business? How did you build a community? I always say that truly it came from the heart. And over, I surrendered to the next step that life was showing me. And I anchored so deeply in that vision of being of service, of committing to find that freedom for myself, deeper and deeper and deeper, layer by layer, and to be able to transmit that to others. This has been the biggest teacher for me in my journey. So how to notice if the heart is open or closed. You can really ask yourself, and I want to do that exercise with you guys. So maybe you can close your eyes for one more time, and you can ask yourself, am I softening or hardening right now? Just take a moment and feel. How open is my heart? Do I feel a lot of tension? Do I feel safe? Do I feel relaxation? Do I feel more connected right now to love or to fear? Just observe with curiosity. And do I feel right now that my life is full of abundance? Or do I feel like there is scarcity? Scarcity of love, scarcity of presence, scarcity of time, scarcity of money. Any kind of scarcity. How do you feel on that range? And how does that feel right now in your chest, in the heart area? Does it feel open? Or does it feel tight and guarded? Just really feel into that. And ask yourself this question. What would it take to open my heart a little bit wider right now? Just explore how that would feel. And then when you're ready with this short exercise, I invite you to gently come back and share in the chat from a 1 to 10, saying 1 fully closed, 10 fully open, how you feel right now. How open is your heart right now? And if you want, you can also add, what would it take to open my heart a little bit wider right now? I'm just so curious. Okay, Anya says 8. Beautiful. Olga 7. Claire 6. Okay. Ali 3. Okay. Giuseppe 9. Sean 8. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, if I check in with myself, I would say right now my heart is open at an 8. So I am choosing to be here fully vulnerable, open. And at the same time, I'm going through something myself right now that, yeah, is really asking me to cultivate that inner parent for myself, and my inner child got hurt. And I'm in this process of nurturing her and let her know that it's safe for me to open my heart fully. Yeah. And does anyone want to share what it would take for you to open your heart a little bit wider right now? Sean says I could stop focusing on the mind and overstimulated by the group. Yeah, the mind is one of the main reasons why we close. I can see it even with people. When a few examples, when we went to a presentation, when we were practicing in a Toastmasters event, public speaking, I saw one girl starting from the heart open, and then the moment she said something wrong, she started judging herself, and I felt this contraction, and I saw it, and then she was like pulling out, and she even turned around. She's like, no, I can't do it. And then the moment we're like, no, you're okay, we see you, it's safe, she again relaxed and she continued. It's like you can see the moment that the mind takes over. It's so interesting. I can also see it very much with my partner, and when we are going through something, when we have the conversations, I can see and feel when he closes, when I close, and when we open again. It's like you can see it in the look, you can see it in the tension, you can feel it in the energy. Yeah. Anyone else wants to share what it would take for you to open your heart a little bit wider right now? If not, it's also okay. We can also do it in the sharing circle. If not, I will continue for now. Thank you for being honest and open, guys. So what I want to say is a closed heart is often a protective response. It keeps us safe from emotional pain, rejection, or overwhelm. Closing the heart is not wrong, so never judge yourself for doing this. It's how the nervous system tries to protect us. I see still some more responses. Claire says, I'm a bit of a continuous situation at the moment. It's in my environment, so I'm better outside of the situation. Yeah. And Ali says very honestly, and I love that, if I knew, I would do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and this is why it's so important to not understand only this theory, but actually learn how to open the heart. And that is not something you can do only by understanding. It's really the embodiment and rewiring the nervous system. So as this quote says, the nervous system tries to protect us. Because in the past, there were situations where we're not able to hold certain experiences, pain. This caused trauma in us. Trauma doesn't have to be something so huge as a car accident or something really big and dramatic. It can truly be something, like in my own experience, something that I experienced too young, which was too much, too fast, too soon, too much to handle. And this is what happened with me, the situation of my parents, their emotional situation, the alcoholism in my family. It was too much, too soon for me to handle at a young age. That caused trauma. That caused me to close my heart. And it really was a journey for me to learn to take that freedom back into my own hands, to not let the past, let those experiences define how I show up, how I show up in relationships, show up in my business, etc. So no matter where you are and how closed or open your heart is right now, you can learn to come back to safety, to openness at any time. But it is a practice and it requires, a process. An open heart arises when we feel safe, present, and connected with ourselves and others. It is not always comfortable, but it brings healing, intimacy, and freedom. So, like I was saying, it sounds romantic, open your heart, and we often want, but very often we don't know how, because there's parts of us that don't feel safe doing so. So in order to learn opening truly and staying open and choosing to stay open, we need to cultivate the ability to hold ourselves through the emotional storms, through the ups and downs of lives. Because life is always unfolding. It's not personal. What is happening in life is not necessarily personal to us, but because we perceive it through the lens of our nervous system, we often make it personal. And we start judging ourselves, closing, we start fearing, we start creating that suffering for ourselves. And I want to really emphasize the difference here between pain and suffering, because pain is an emotion. It's something that all of us are bound to feel in life. Life is half pain, half love, but in both there is space for love and wisdom. But suffering is when we feel pain and we don't know how to process that pain, so we hold on to that pain. And it's very ironic because we don't want to feel the pain, so we reject the pain. And what happens is we hold on to that pain and we store that pain in those emotional blocks in the body. That's why the way of opening the heart is really through the body, through the nervous system, which goes through the whole body, our nervous system. So how to stay open? A few of my personal tips and also what I teach in my work. Number one, presence, of course. Ahora, now in Spanish, it's all about presence. Ahora has been my biggest teacher, and over I come back to the same simple conclusion. If we learn to stay present with reality as it is, the heart will open naturally. As we learn to not react from those traumas and survival mechanisms, and this is a process as well, we will learn to stay present. And when we do close, we also stay present with that, and we look at that with curiosity and care, and we ask ourselves, what would really nourish me right now? How can I really open my heart again? What do I need? Not from anyone else, but what can I give myself to open again? So I don't need to suffer from the blocked energy stream, because in our body, there is this constant energy stream. In the yogi language, they call it Shakti. And when we close the heart, we break that energy off and we break our inspiration, creativity, presence, love. So when we close and we are resentful, we judgmental, we can't forgive, we can't stay present because we live in the past. And when we are fearful about the future, it's the same thing. We are not present. And this is what happens very often in relationships, love, friends, family. We can't forgive people because we don't know how. And that keeps us living with that toxicity in our system. And that keeps us living in the past, repeating cycles from that trauma. This is not freedom. We are led by those patterns from the past. Second one, feeling to heal. So this has been also a big journey for me to really learn to feel, especially the darkness, the pain. Because the very logical thing that we do the moment we are discomfortable or we feel pain is we want to leave, we lean out. Feeling to heal means leaning in. It is accepting the situation that, okay, right now I feel these strong emotions. It is embracing these emotions, so not judging them, staying present with whatever is there, and it's allowing them to move through you. And then energy is just moving. It doesn't have to take days, weeks, often we go through a difficult time and we even say, I'm not feeling so well in my skin. And this is because unconsciously we hold on to those experiences, to that pain, to that contraction. And when we learn to open, to feel, to hold ourselves, this is when it can move. And yes, there will be moments where we feel pain, and sometimes it's very intense, but then that contraction, when felt, also softens again, and you feel more empowered, you feel more resilient, because another contraction, you went through it with courage and with grace. The third one is the nervous system regulation. This has changed everything for me, because I was talking to so many psychotherapists, friends, in general. I've been talking and thinking about it so often. I remember even when I would feel something bad, I would start writing and I would feel why I feel so bad, what happened, how can I solve this, what are the things I'm gonna do to solve it. And this meant immediately that I started rationalizing. The moment I feel something in the body, I wanted to rationalize it. And I thought that if I understand why I feel this way, then it will go away. But that is not true. And this is not the real way of releasing it. This is actually, more suppressing it by trying to rationalize it, or expressing it by writing it down or shouting at someone or getting triggered and snapping at someone. But there is a middle way, which is observation. And this is going with the practice of also equanimity, which is the fourth part. And you can cultivate that through meditation, through somatics. So these are the two main tools that I work with also in my programs. With somatics, I mean the language of the body. It's really learning to feel things in the body and release them through the body. And there is different somatic practices, breath work, sound, music, movement. It can all process that stored energy. Writing can also really help, and journaling can also really help. However, I recommend then writing truly about how you feel and not trying to analyze it or search for solutions. Just free writing, this is how I feel, this is the emotions, and really giving it space to be expressed in a healthy way that way. Through nervous system regulation, we can always come back to safety. And no matter how many problems you have, how much chaos there is in your life, when our nervous system is regulated, everything will start feeling so much more manageable, approachable, and you can really see the clarity that you need and you can get things done. So a lot of my clients always say is like, I came to you to expand my business and to expand my personal growth. And then you're telling me to slow down, to create space, to stay present. I don't get it. I don't see how that aligns. Yesterday, I had one mentorship client that was saying that also in the last session that we had. And I found this so cute because indeed, in the beginning, we are taught the opposite. When we have problems, when we want something, we need to go linear, we need to do stuff, we need to get our answers, but it's all led by the mental. Oh, here's oh yeah, hi Mats and Salome, nice that you're joining. I muted them. And through the nervous system regulation, you can really learn to speak the language of the body and to cultivate that inner safety no matter the chaos outside. So to really stay rooted. And the fourth one, which is my main practice, and this is what I also teach to meditation, is practicing equanimity. I have here even a tattoo of it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's on my right arm, and it's on the muscle area because it's truly a muscle that you train. So equanimity is something that I learned through my Vipassana practices, where I go yearly for 10-day silence retreat. And there I've met myself deeper than ever before, than any plant medicine, than any therapy, anything else. Nothing else has impacted me more than meditation and integration of that. So practicing equanimity means anchoring yourself in love intentionally choosing to solve situations from a place of love, to cultivate inner safety first. Whenever there's chaos and your mind is so busy and racing and it wants all the answers and it wants to run, this is the moment where you need to practice the muscle of non-reaction and presence and cultivate inner safety first by regulating your inner state and your nervous system and allowing yourself to truly feel. You see how all of them are really connecting. And this is for me real, embodied leadership. This is for me what it means to be an embodied leader, to be able to stay present with all that is, to feel, to regulate your nervous system, to have emotional resilience, and to really lead yourself from a place of intention and non-reactivity. Yeah. Like I was saying before, life is half pleasure, half pain. But in both, there's love and wisdom. And staying present at all times is the gateway to true freedom. If we can stay present, we will find our way to freedom. Freedom inside, from the mind, from these voices, from all this judgment, from all this toxicity and all this tension that we hold on. And also outside, because when we are not led anymore by that, and we know that we can hold ourselves through discomfort, we can also take bold choices in our life and our business. So this path is not for the faint-hearted, I always say. So you really need to be ready to do the work, to do the inner work. And at the same time, it is much simpler than we think. All we truly need is the courage and commitment to this process. And yeah, I'm so fascinated by these deep teachings. They come from ancient teachings from the time of Buddha and also more modern approaches like the somatic practices. And yeah, it has really changed my life. And I'm really here for you if you feel called to walk this path, to take leadership of your life, and to learn how to live with an open heart. If you feel that this is something that's calling you, which is a sacred space where true alchemy happens. So alchemy is also a very important word for me. This is representing these transformative processes inside. If you haven't checked out also my podcast yet, it's called Ahora Alchemy. So for me, this is all about learning to alchemize everything that makes you feel tense, contracted, and closed into openness and into love and into freedom. This is as simple as that. And the path is, the path is there. I haven't made it up. It comes from big teachers like Buddha, like writers like Michael Singer, which is a huge inspiration of mine, which is also Goenka, which spread the Vipassana centers all over the world, a huge inspiration for me. They all walked this path. And yeah, if anything, I want to show my gratitude to all the teachers that walked before me and that I have been so grateful and lucky to learn from. And I know that for sure my path continues and it is going to be a lifelong journey. And I really feel with my whole heart that this is what I'm here to do, to create a movement of more embodied leaders. And this is also why I do these calls, why I offer my work. So if at any point you feel like this is the right time for me to really take the lead of my life, of my business, and this path is touching you, because you need to feel it, so feel it also in your heart. If it's touching you, if there's like a slight pull call, just reach out, and you can always schedule an exploratory call with me without any commitments, because for me this is also a really sacred space. So I really check whether you are ready for this, whether your expectations are matching with this approach, and whether I can truly lead you from a place of integrity. For me, this is so important, because there's so many mentors, coaches promising now all over the internet. Yeah, earn 10K months, earn 30K months. And it's all about the result of financial success. However, I feel like it bypasses the true meaning of life, which is being able to experience life to the fullest and feeling abundant in moments of a lot of abundance and freedom, but also feeling as abundant in those challenging moments where life might be testing you, and when you might feel lost and you might not feel like you are so abundant. So abundance is a true frequency. And yes, I do believe that the outer success is a logical result of your inner work. However, I want to say this with all honesty, because for me, integrity is so important. There is this path that you need to walk in order to manifest that freedom, abundance, and fulfillment in your outer world. First, you have to face what is keeping you away from that in your inner world. There is no quick fixes. There is no one strategy. And if anything, what I teach in these programs, and I will be also launching in October a group program about this, this is that you can lead yourself through the ups and downs of life, and you can truly find your truth, which is invaluable. It is invaluable because sometimes life brings us very challenging experiences, and we are here to live it, to experience life to the fullest. We are not here to choose which experiences we want. The more we control, the more suffering we create. And the more we surrender and let life unfold and take life as it is, the more freedom we truly experience. And this has been truly how I build my business, how I keep building my business, and how layer by layer also embody that deeper. And I'm truly sharing this from the heart and inviting you into these spaces, either with my one-on-one work or the group program that is coming in October. You are so welcome to immerse yourself in these teachings, and I'm so grateful to be a vessel for transmitting that. Yeah. So I will stop sharing now, and I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear how this resonates, and and what's on your heart right now. Who is brave?
Well, I can start, but I will try to be short because, I mean, for me, but I'm following you from the start of Ahora. So, and I really, I mean, for me, your journey is very clear. I mean, I don't know, I understand every step of it, and it's like I'm walking a parallel way. So we have different. I have different challenges than you, but some are a bit similar. Um, I've been sharing with you about the surrender, and that has been really the trigger for me to open.
I'm so happy.
I really feel that the importance of being with the heart open, because for people who don't know me, I've been in the spiritual practice for a very long time. I've been meditating for more than 15 years. Like I'm a daily practitioner of yoga, meditation, Kundalini yoga, and I still had a lot of challenges on emotion, on exactly when the situation is difficult to stay open. And so for you, Uli, I understand that the body was really a thing to regulate the nervous system. For me, the challenge is the emotions, especially the anger. I have that sense of justice, which is very, very sensitive. And I have my family's issues are triggering the injustice. So, yeah, try not to
Yeah,
to
no,
to.
I love what you're saying. Yeah.
So lately, it's been really, really beautiful for me how the surrender works, like really to open. I still have a lot to learn about the leading part because I have that in me. I have had opportunities in my life where I was that leader, but it's been like up and down. I never understood really how it works. I'm a manifester, but I'm not a manifester. I say manifester because you are into
Human
human
design.
design. But so I still have a lot to learn on that, but I know for me the key is open the heart. So for me, yeah, of course it works.
Mm.
I'm 100% with you there.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it so much, Sean, and I love that the art of surrender resonated with you so much, no? Because it is also such a big part of my journey. And what you say, like anger, emotions, this is in the body, huh? Every emotion is felt in the body. So the part of forgiveness indeed is meaning that, yeah, you are closing the heart and not being able to forgive, so you are holding that resentment inside of you. And for you, the journey to open and to feel it, so allowing yourself to feel, to actually express that anger in a healthy way, can be a really beautiful practice. I will send to you Osho dynamic meditation, which is a 1 hour meditation with multiple phases where you can really express your anger through movement, and there's loud music. And I think that this can do a lot for you because it has done also a lot for me, because for many years I also felt very angry towards my mother for all the traumas that I had, and for me closing the heart I was blaming her, yeah, until I understood, like, wait, I've been actually doing this myself. And I love your reflection, what you're saying around spiritual practice and emotional resilience. You can go to yoga, you can go to breathwork, you can even do vipassanas, meditation, you can even do ayahuasca, the plant medicine, doesn't matter. If you cannot integrate this in your life, this is what embodiment is. It's just another experience. It's just another experience where you feel how the state of openness feels, but you go back and you close your heart again because you don't know how to integrate it. And this is why, for me, also working with my mentors, it has really taught me to integrate these two: the connection to the divine and surrendering to the unknown, and being in my body and allowing myself to feel everything while knowing that all of it is impermanent and all of it is experienced by the true me. And from there we can build the leadership, from that understanding of, I am not those voices, I am not that anger, I am not that chaos that is inside of me. But that is the process of learning how to observe what is happening within you, and indeed taking that from an embodied level into leadership. Yeah, thank you so much for your share.
my pleasure.
Who wants to go next? I want to hear you all at least a little bit. Be brave.
Can you hear
Claire.
me? Yeah,
Yes.
hi. Yeah, a lot of what you've said. Thanks so much for sharing, first of all. A lot of what you've said has really resonated with me, so I don't really know where to start. But I mean, it's something, I think my journey is one that's really helped. I don't know if it's helped or hindered, but anyway, I find that a lot of the people that I come across, within my business, I've had a similar path of kind of unresolved trauma that they weren't even aware that they had, and trying to fix it. And it's exactly what you've just described about how you can have the kind of intellectual knowledge of, what you need to do, breathing, journaling, therapy, and even becoming a yoga instructor, like whatever it is, right? Like whatever modality you choose. But what I see is that I come across people who they've done a lot of work, they've done the work, but they haven't embodied it. So they have this intellectual knowledge of, yes, I was angry, I need to deal with that, or I need to release it, or like they know what to do. It's just not landing. And I think because I was disembodied because of trauma for such a long time, I recognize it immediately. I don't know, like a good example is, so this is just someone that I met who was telling me about how they did teacher training for yoga in India, and it was a crash course, 28 days. And so I joined their morning yoga with them, like for maybe 2 or 3 days. And I mean, I didn't actually say anything, but the instructor said, "Oh yeah, I'm out of practice. That's why I'm so stiff." And I was like, because we'd had some long conversations, I could see that it was almost like performance art at that point. It was just going through the poses, but the body was stiff and rigid because a lot of the trauma hadn't been processed, and they couldn't make the link. And so
it's a beautiful example, Claire, because if we are in anesthesia, we can put even our leg behind our head, because our body is super flexible, but because when we are conscious and there's tension in our body, we can't create that flexibility. So the inner state reflects immediately on the outer state. Also, all the diseases physically, they start always first inside. I can imagine how fascinating this is for your work.
So and I think you touched on it briefly. Maybe you didn't call it the same thing, masculine and feminine energy. That's something else that I've noticed. Basically, I've attracted all the clients that I've attracted of people that remind me of myself before going through a transition. Wow. But thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing, Claire.
You're welcome.
Nice. Who wants to go next?
I go next. I hope the noise at the background is not too loud.
No, it's okay.
First of all, thank you so much, Julie. I resonated with absolutely each and every word. I could feel your pain. It actually brought like really emotions up in me when you've been sharing your childhood drama.
Thank you so much, Olga, for this so raw and honest share. This is, right now, your heart is open. I just want to emphasize that, because this can only be shared, this truth, this authenticity, it can only be shared with an open heart. And what I sense from your story, and you can feel into it if that resonates, is when we try to heal from a agenda of we are not good enough, we need to fix something in ourselves, we actually don't fully receive ourselves with love. And it was also a journey for me to learn the difference between that, because healing, yes, it's an important part of our journey, but what is even more important is remembering that we are already whole, that we don't need to do more, that we don't need to. In healing, some people also overdo. They overdo sessions, they overdo, because it comes not from a place of I feel abundant and I feel whole, and I can invest into myself by this program or by this mentorship or by this class, but it comes from a place of, oh, I feel horrible, I feel so broken, let me fix myself by doing another thing. And in that, there is such a slight rejection. It's very sneaky, but in learning to love yourself, this is absolute key part for you, to really learn to love yourself without a double agenda, without I don't need to, like, you know, I hear a little bit, I want to love myself so I can build my business. A little bit of that is present, but you need to learn to love yourself, to love yourself. Being of service comes when your cup is full. And it's so beautiful that there is such a strong desire of being of service. And I have so much respect for that. And I feel that also so strongly. But part of my work, for example, my mentorships, is what I help clients a lot with, is to find their own pace, to really to build the foundation, the energetic bedding, to be able to hold their vision and to take steps while caring for themselves. The triggers, the pain, it won't stop. The moment we learn to accept that, we can ask ourselves not when will it stop, but how can I hold this? How can I hold myself through this? And then it becomes the veil of like pressures of, you can truly surrender, because yes, right now I'm feeling pain, but I know it's not permanent. So let me just feel it through. Let me hold myself, nourish myself, and hold my vision. Yeah. To go next after such a beautiful share. We still have Ali, Anya, and Giuseppe.
Well,
Maybe.
I can go. I can go
Perfect.
because maybe I feel I can bring a bit of a different experience because
Yeah.
I put a 9 there because it's a moment in which I'm recognizing to myself a lot of effort I've been doing in the past 2 years of self-reflecting and meditating, and finally find my way of connecting to myself, which is in which journaling and writing in general is a big part. And I'm using some prompts. I'm still using some prompts that in other calls were shared to keep on this journey. Well, I'm applying the concept of, let's say, living and even leading from my heart and from a place of surrender in my daily job as an entrepreneur, now with my team, because I also have a small team now, and on a private life also with my girlfriend, which we are now moving together, and we're getting married next year. So it's really a moment in which I feel my heart is full in both sense. But I'm like, if there is something that I would like to work on, and you point that out very well, is for me as well, is how to bridge the gap from the leading and living to the serving part, because I'm still struggling a lot to put the ego aside. Well, I know my heart is full. I know I'm listening with actively, like without trying to put myself aside of it, but sometimes it's very difficult, and I'm still struggling a lot. And this is bringing me to even get closer to religion in a way, like to bridge that gap to go from determination to devotion, like you phrase it very well in that passage, because I believe it's really when you are not able to step out as a person, but to step out your energy, to let things flow by themselves without the urge to control each and every aspect, that really you let the magic happen, and eventually you can trigger and adjust later, but you don't prevent things from happen from the beginning, let's say. So yeah, in this moment, let's say I'm really working on acquiring that perspective too, because I think once you reach once you feel you are working, it's as you said, it's natural. I think it's a path, like once you see you are working and you recognize yourself, the steps towards living those value and leading from those value, it comes natural. That other step of serving I think is the most critical one, but in a way it closes the loop, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, really good reflection. I think this is spot on, because it's all a journey, you know, and where Olga was talking about the mind, the ego is also related to that, right? So there is this process of us remembering who we truly are. And I understand your connection to religion or to the divine, like people call it in different names, like there is the placebo effect, the God, the universe, the, you know, like Shakti, the energy, like everyone calls it differently, but we know that there is something that creates magic. There is books around it. I have so many synchronicities in my own life, and what you're saying is spot on. The moment that we learn to surrender, and that's what John also was naming earlier, we create space for that magic to happen. And yeah, one of the things that I've already shared with you with the work of Michael Singer, I don't know if you've already done that course, otherwise I really recommend it, and also his work in general. It is a lot about going beyond. And what he talks about is going beyond your personal self. So the personal self is the ego, no? It's I'm Giuseppe, I'm a boy, I have a business, I have a girlfriend. It's this whole concept of who you are in this physical form. Then the ego is inflated when something is hurting that I. Because that I is precious, that I, you cannot say anything wrong about it, you know? Then the moment it happens, we close the heart. The process of letting go of the ego and stepping in the devotion is understanding that you are a humble student of life. That this I is a concept that the mind made up to keep you safe. Because walking this path with an open heart and surrender, it really requires courage. It requires courage to admit that you don't know everything, and to be okay with that, and to trust that life will give you in divine timing the perfect learning opportunities, difficult ones and pleasurable ones. I was talking with this also yesterday with my mentorship client, that we were reflecting on the 3-month journey that we did. And he also said, it's so crazy. I started with these intentions. His journey was called the journey of listening and surrender, because I always asked my clients to give a name to the process. And he said, it's crazy how life perfectly gave me the opportunities to learn in my family, in my personal life, in my business. They were not comfortable, and it was maybe not what you expect, but they were teaching exactly that, what you are ready to learn. And they also say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the teacher is ready, the student appears. You know, so what I recommend you, Giuseppe, is just walk your path and stay present with it. Because, you know, the learning opportunities, they don't only come when we go to ayahuasca retreats or these extreme experiences. They come every day. Every day when we feel, when our heart is closing, observe it with curiosity and see, what is this teaching me? Can I go here beyond that personal self, that I? Can I go beyond that and see the higher meaning of this situation and what it's teaching me? And when we start seeing pain as our teacher and not our enemy, it becomes much easier to observe it with curiosity. Because now we think, oh, we have a challenging time. Oh, this is painful. Oh, this is bad. Something bad is happening to me. This person is bad. But what we don't understand is that is the biggest learning opportunities. And it can be as simple as that. But the integration of these teachings, that's why when I do the mentorships, I really work with people also on a daily check-in basis. They can really talk to me on Telegram, because this is when these moments happen. And then you are kind of torn between, okay, I feel like I want to do this or think this, and this is what my mind says, but I want to write a new story here. How can we integrate in this current situation the new story I want to write and these teachings? And little by little, you start recognizing the moments more where you are acting from the ego, when you're closing, when you're controlling, and more when you start realizing that, you start creating space to choose differently. Yeah. I hope that helps. I will share one more time the audio training of Michael Singer in the chat for us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, Anya and Ali, double A. Who's ready?
Okay, I'll go. So hello, everybody. This was a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much, Julie. I feel a bit different because I'm actually a part of the process of on a journey to be an embodied leader. That's Juliana guiding me. And I come from the first-hand experience how truly impactful and how truly it's coming from this beautiful, deep place of compassion. And I feel this compassion really, really, really present in the way Uliana appears and the way she holds space. So I think it's the best tool to learn from observance. And I feel this is exactly the method that can be applied to many, many, many areas of our lives. So it's this place of just holding the space. It's much easier when you have somebody who holds it for you and nurtures you and feeds you with the right set of information and steps, and is there just like really subtly guiding you so that you can actually fly and be so light that you actually can fly in a sense. So I really feel this space so present within the work that you do and the work that we do, and I absolutely adore the journey. I feel it's very much needed in this at this space and time, and there is many teachers and there is many guides, but to really find your guide, it's so precious. And I like the selection process that she also takes, that you also take. It's like so reassuring that if it's a match, it's a match. If it's not a match, then you perhaps will not enjoy this process so much. But I believe that when it resonates, and it's also the way that you are guiding us, so that your frequency is the one that vibrates and the one that will attract the right set of customers, the right team, the right space. So for me, this place of compassion has been a very, very beautiful guide, and I'm very, very happy to enjoy it, to see it, to experience, as I think it's truly a life changer. So having it, enjoying it, as well as holding it for yourself, you know, we like to be the punisher, but what's the reason for it? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Anya. Your words touch me so deeply. Yeah, you're right, and this is indeed how I feel, because the nice story everyone can have, but the embodiment of it, you feel it. You feel if someone is speaking their truth. I have many clients coming to me asking, yeah, I want to organize retreats. How can you show me how to fill my groups? And I always tell them honestly, I'm not offering quick fixes. That's not what I do, you know. Or then people say like, yeah, I want to launch your online program in 2 months. I said like, okay, but where are we right now? You know, and this is indeed a process that turns some people off, but the right people also embark on a journey that does not only lay a foundation for the question that they bring in, but for their whole life, you know. And this is what it's been for me, and that's why I truly believe that for me, by showing up in these calls, creating these spaces for you guys, it comes really from the heart, you know, and not because I need something in return, but truly because I feel so grateful that I was able to receive these teachings, and that I'm so grateful to be passing that on, and that together we can create that movement. This is, yeah, for me, the most rewarding thing. Yeah, and I'm so happy that you're part of it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ali,
Hey,
the last.
I don't know if I'm lucky. By the way, I'm curious if it makes a difference in human design if your heart is open or closed. But anyways, yeah, Uli, my spirit animal. I definitely resonated with what you said. I mean, I suppose we had like not all steps, but like a similar background in at least a Soviet background. And it's hard because, you know, you can you get all these practices, you embody them all, you understand them all in 99% of your life. You know, you do all that, you're like, yep, come what may, resilience, accept universe, etc., etc. And then you have your parents and you can't do anything with them. You can't change them. Like that's like the one thing, the one part that's, I don't know, I feel that that's, I don't know, a different factor, because relationships, okay, come and go, like you have some sort of control over yourself, how you relate with life. You can do that. I don't know, maybe siblings, but yeah, with the parents, it's harder. Like that's like, you know, that's my current struggle. And when you were saying, you know, sometimes you know, if your heart is closed, you lean out, you shut down, but sometimes you need to lean in. And that's like, that's the ever confusing concept for me here, because I feel like in today's culture, a lot of people, they throw around words, trauma, toxicity, this and that, like, oh, this person is so toxic in my life, so I must, you know, let them go. But, you know, they're gaslighting me, but then it's like, oh, am I gaslighting myself? And so many labels. And sometimes the answer is no, you're the screwed up one. You kind of just need to sort it out. Sometimes it is them. And with parents, it's weird because, you know, like sometimes, I don't know. I had matcha today and I'm not used to caffeine and it's affecting me, so I'm a little woozy, don't mind me. But
No, but I get what
yeah.
you're trying to say, and you know, I want you guys also to see in this group that we are not alone on this path. I've had my topics with parents. Jean named it very clearly. You're naming it for sure. All of us here have some stories with parents. It is not a coincidence, you know. It is not a coincidence, and this is why I also want to unite these, yeah, these topics and these kind of calls to show you guys that all of us are going through these alchemy processes. And then when you're saying indeed, like, yeah, I get so confused, and this is the mind, because the mind is giving you all kinds of perspectives, and it's like, yeah, should I do this or should I do that? Is this the true or this? Should I act like this to them or that? Or they upset me, or is it my problem? This is the mind. The moment that we start having conversations with that, we have already lost. This is the thing that, you know, and to learn to observe that, because what happens is actually something is triggering unsafety in your system, and what you really need is not to start engaging with the mind and these stories, but actually cultivate the inner safety. And then with the real relationship to your parents, sometimes the best thing you can do is have a break or have space in the external relationship, but what matters is how internally you look at the situation. Because if internally, for example, I feel like that with my mom right now, if I think of her, I have right now only love and compassion, and I feel so compassionate for how hard her life has been. And I don't choose anymore to go on long holidays with her, or, you know, when we travel, we decide to have our own spaces, because I know that. And in the past I've tried to not have any relationship at all, but that also hurt me, because that also was not right. So then it's the dance of finding the circumstances in the external world what work. But the most important that shifted in me is that I don't blame her anymore for my pain. And when you can release yourself from that, for blaming them for your pain, for your anger, for your emotions, for the traumas, when you can stop doing that and take the ownership in yourself and feel that empowerment, that frees up the energy. And then the external relationship with them, you can decide with intention, but not from these tantrums of like, oh, I don't want to speak to you anymore, like, you know. And that is like all coming from a different space. So there is these two elements, and the third element that I want to say is that has changed my life is cultivating the inner parents within you. Because why do we get so angry? It's angry or sad, it's because we miss them. We miss them so fucking much that we are so angry, and this caused us to be hurt, to have certain patterns, traumas, and then we hide that by acting out to them. But the truth is that we just really missed parents and emotional safety and consistency. And what can we do? Stop blaming them and give it to ourselves. So this is the idea of cultivating the divine feminine and divine masculine energies within, and cultivating the inner parents within. So when you are in distress, you can hold that little child within you that is so hurt, that is so afraid. And I'm telling you, it changes the whole perspective of everything. So we are not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We need to learn to remember how to actually feel the wholeness of ourselves and allow ourselves to experience all these emotions with compassion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's no, the slow yeah is because for some of us there's like a thin line between basically taking responsibility and, you know, like you said, like taking ownership of the blame and whatnot, and then shifting the blame to ourselves.
Not
And
shifting the blame. That's
yeah,
where the switch needs to happen. I feel like in
exactly.
your system, not switching the blame, not blaming anyone, and receiving the pain that has caused you with compassion and patience. Not with a double agenda, not to fix yourself, not to literally just to owe yourself the freedom of peace. That's the main, for me, this is the guiding light in all the darkness. I commit my life to going beyond this personal self, to doing this work, so I actually can enjoy life to the fullest. And it's allowing ourselves to live life to the fullest, because if in your childhood, in many periods, you've known only darkness, like I have known, that becomes your safe space. So unconsciously, you will keep yourself in that darkness without understanding even how you're keeping yourself there, because deep inside you don't allow yourself to fully step into the greatness of light, of showing yourself. And that is because of the inner child that is hurt and it's hiding. And that's the process of not blaming the inner child and being like, oh, why you're so shy, why you know, like so weak. No, actually seeing that child and being like, gosh, you must have been so afraid. I am so sorry that they weren't there for you, but I'm here every single day, and nobody is more important than you. Not my partner, not my family. Nobody is more important than you. And this is true freedom, because then when we start embodying this, not only understanding this, but feeling this way, we can set boundaries with love, and we can choose that, what we truly need in every situation. Yeah, but thank you so much, Ali, for sharing this, and thank you, everyone. Wow, I'm always so deeply touched what happens in these spaces, and how you're also such big inspiration and teachers for me. I feel like I have another 5 ideas of podcasts to make from this call, so I will definitely share them with you. But as I promise you also a little bit of embodiment and a little bit more feeling, I will stop the recording now and we can start with the heart opening games.